Good morning, everyone. My name is Preet Bharara, and I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Today, we are once again bringing priceless artifacts back to the country to which they belong. Today, unlike on other days, we are returning to the National Library of Sweden two antique books, Description of Louisiana by Louis Hennepin and The Valley of the Mississippi, illustrated by Henry Lewis. Now, to the untrained eye, the significance of these two books may not be obvious, but they are extremely rare examples of books documenting the initial European exploration of North America. These books, which once belonged to the collections of Swedish royalty, offered readers of centuries ago some of the first glimpses of the extraordinary American landscape and people. The Hennepin book documents the author's exploration of the upper Mississippi River in 1680. The book is known for its map, which has the first ever printed record of Louisiana, and for the first descriptions of Niagara Falls and the St. Anthony Falls. And if you look to my right, you'll see a reproduction of the map on the easel in the center. The Lewis book contains hand-colored lithographs and texts from the author's explanation of the Mississippi River between the years 1846 and 1849. Very few copies of the book have survived, which makes its return today all the more special. And also to my right, on the first and third easels, you'll see some reproductions of those hand-colored lithographs. Before I go any further, let me take a step back and give you a little background on the case, some of which you may be familiar with. The National Library of Sweden is an agency of the Swedish state and has a collection of royal books that date back to the 1500s. For hundreds of years, the library's collection of books, maps, and manuscripts was treasured by the kings and queens of Sweden. Today, the library is a place for researchers and scholars, particularly in the humanities and social sciences. As explained by Jyrki Ryden, the library's senior legal advisor, who is here with us today, the library contains, quote, the memory of the nation, close quote. As Mr. Ryden described it in a New York Times article last year, the theft that brings us here today, open quote, created black holes, and money can't compensate when you have black holes, close quote. And so I'm proud that this office has been at the forefront of filling those black holes for many nations' cultural histories. In 2004, as you may know, the library discovered that some 56 rare or one-of-a-kind books had been stolen from its collection. After one of its employees, Anders Burius, confessed to the thefts, after stealing the books, Burius consigned or sold them to Ketterer Kunst, an auction house in Germany. In 1998, Stefan Lowenthal, the owner of the 19th century shop Rare Books in Baltimore, Maryland, purchased the Hennepin book and the Lewis book at a Ketterer auction. When Mr. Lowenthal purchased the books, he had no knowledge of their theft from the library, and through diligent investigation and efforts of Swedish authorities and the FBI, it was discovered that Ketterer had sold these two books to Mr. Lowenthal. When he was contacted by the FBI about their theft, he voluntarily reobtained the books and agreed to return them to the library. So he really did go above and beyond the call of duty. Some might think that he deserves a medal. Our hope is that the continuing investigation will lead us to other books so that more and more black holes can be filled. We also hope that Mr. Lowenthal's actions in returning these stolen books will prompt others to return antique books in their possession that were stolen from the library, because there is still a lot out there that are missing. I would like to thank those who made this recovery possible. First, I want to thank the FBI, represented here by our friend George Venizelos, the Assistant Director in charge of the New York Field Office. Also, Bel Chen in the Criminal Division is here, and the case agent, John Iannuzzi. This office, in conjunction with the FBI, has assisted with the recovery and return of several pieces of stolen artwork. As you may know, today's return of these two antique books to the National Library of Sweden marks just the latest success in our ongoing work to recover and return stolen art and antiquity to their rightful owners wherever they are in the world. We look forward to continuing our partnership with the FBI and working together in the future to expand this very important program. I also want to thank the folks, of course, from my own office, Sharon Cohen-Levin, the Chief of the Asset Forfeiture Unit, and Assistant U.S. Attorneys Christine Magdo and Sarah Paul. Now let me call to the podium George Venizelos of the FBI.
Thank you, Preet. By the way, nice tie. Nice tie, right? Lighten it up once in a while, right? Good afternoon. And I have a brief statement I'm just going to read on the case. The National Library of Sweden was established more than 350 years ago. It contains over 2 million items. Its collections of books, pictures, manuscripts, newspapers, and other materials include a significant part of Sweden's cultural heritage. Many of the library's items are invaluable. Treasured pieces of a country's heritage have value far beyond their market value. Some things are not for sale or shouldn't be. Beginning in 1995, Anders Burius exploited his position as a trusted employee of the library to steal dozens of rare books. Using an alias, he sold the books through a German auction house. Fearing discovery, Burius confessed to the thefts and committed suicide. More than a dozen of the stolen books were sold to U.S. buyers. Burius cannot be prosecuted, but beyond arresting and prosecuting criminals, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office have a role in serving the interests of justice. We are pleased to be returning 2 of the stolen books to the National Library of Sweden. The books were tracked to Stephen Lowenthal here, who purchased the books 15 years ago without knowledge of the thefts, and he has agreed to return them. The Louis Hennepin book alone is a remarkable treasure. Published 330 years ago, it chronicles Henneken's discoveries on an exploratory mission in the New World from Quebec through the Great Lakes to the upper Mississippi River. It's a book about America before it was America, but it belongs to Sweden. We hope to continue the effort to locate the remaining stolen rare books. I want to welcome Mr. Herdenberg and our guests from Sweden. I want to thank our partners in this effort, U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, Chief Sharon Levin, and Assistant U.S. Attorneys Christine Mango and Sarah Paul. And finally, congratulations to FBI Special Agent John Iannuzzi for his work in getting part of Sweden's cultural heritage returned to Sweden. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I like your tie also. Some things are rare, like the books that are being returned to Sweden, and some things like ties are not so rare. I want to finally call to the podium Gunilla Herdenberg, the CEO of the National Library of Sweden.
Good afternoon, everybody. To U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara, Assistant Director George Venizelos, Forfeiture Chief Sharon Levin, and to your many colleagues that have been involved in this matter. On behalf of the Kingdom of Sweden and the international library community, I extend my most profound gratitude for your combined efforts. This is not only a matter of the safe return of the lost books to Sweden, to their rightful place amongst the collections housed at our National Library. It is a matter of making their content available to the general public and to the research community. Das Illustrierte Mississippi-tal is a wonderful, extensively detailed work by Henry Lewis, once owned by the Swedish King Charles XV. Description de la Louisiane by Louis Hennepin is unique in that it contains the first printed map of Louisiana and was published not long after Sweden had their own colonial adventure that, as it happened, ended in failure. The Swedes, however, founded the colony of New Sweden in what would later become the present-day city of Wilmington, Delaware. To manifest the responsibility of official institutions and the role they play as protectors of cultural heritage, I would now like to make a return of my own and give back the Whitfleet Atlas that was returned to Stockholm only last year. This was another volume stolen from our collections by the same thief. It is not the atlas itself as an object, but a digitized edition that we feel emphasizes the importance of providing access to our holdings and in sharing our treasures. So please, Mr. Barara. I have here 3 copies of the atlas, so this is for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And so, our sincerest thanks to you, to the American citizens, and to American officials for aiding us in our endeavor to provide access to cultural heritage. Our shared history, as it were. I also want to thank Herrick Feinstein for helping us with legal matters. And so, I would like to thank Mr. Stefan Lowenthal especially. Your generosity to the National Library, to citizens of Sweden, and to the international community has been tremendous. As the National Librarian of Sweden, it's going to be better. As the National Librarian of Sweden, I have a particular entitlement to honor those individuals who undertake extraordinary efforts to serve the National Library. And that is exactly what you have done. Therefore, I have the pleasure of presenting to you today a Medal of Honor with the inscription in Latin. And now it's getting worse. It says in Latin, Munificentia civium patrimonium fovet, which means, roughly translated to English, civic generosity fosters cultural heritage. And here it is.
That is really
Thank you very much.
That's really, thank you.
My many, many thanks to all of you involved in this matter.
Thank you very much. I knew you deserved a medal. I don't know if you have questions or you just want to take a look at what's up on the easels, but if you have any, we're happy to answer them as we can.
How did this end up in the Southern District?
I thought everything ends up in the Southern District.
He's in Maryland, right?
Yeah. Do you want to remind us, Sharon, how this ended up in the Southern District? Part of a larger investigation.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.